Welcome to Newport County Votes, a series of forums featuring candidates for local and state offices. I'm Sheila Maloney, Executive Editor of the Newport Daily News, and we're here live on Thursday, October 16th. Tonight we are pleased to welcome all three candidates for Tiverton Town Treasurer. The candidates are George L. Zabak, Philip D. Mattia, and Laura Epke. Thank you for being here tonight. Before we start, some general guidelines about how these forums work. There are no formal opening or closing statements, and there is no formal time clock for answers, although we ask candidates to limit their answers to allow for as many questions as possible. As the moderator, I have the discretion to refocus answers and answers that run long or ask a follow-up question. We will start with the first candidate in alphabetical order and give each candidate an opportunity to respond, rotating who receives a question first, and I will strive to give each candidate approximately equal time. So let's get started with you, George. What made you decide to run for the office of treasurer, and what particular qualifications do you feel make you best suited for this position?
First of all, let me thank you, the Newport Daily News, and the NCTV to put this forum together for us to show our faces and put our qualification out. I wanted to get involved. First of all, my name is George L. Zabak. I'm a resident of Tiverton. I wanted to get involved in the local topics and local issues, and there's a lot of them now. The town treasurer needed some changes, needed some overseeing, and I thought I qualify for it. I'm a business owner. I've been in town for 20 years. I own more than one business, and I feel qualified to do the work, and that's what all it needs.
Okay, thank you. Philip, what made you decide to run for treasurer, and what qualifications do you bring to the position?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity tonight. But first of all, I'm running on a campaign of financial expertise. I believe that's what Tiverton needs now. Tiverton citizens are hurting and are angry. Some have lost their jobs. Rhode Island has 8.5% unemployment. Some have lost their businesses due to the economy. Some have lost their homes through foreclosure. Many people have their homes up for sale but can't sell them. Home values have dropped, yet evaluations still remain high. The Financial Town Meeting on May 28th increased the Tiverton Town tax rate by 9.7%. And the Financial Town Meeting, according to the Budget Vice Chairman, was outrageous and illegal. In summary, our citizens are panicking and have lost hope. We need to make changes and bring confidence back to our town government. I'm not a politician. I'm running unaffiliated, and so I'm appealing to Democrats, Republicans, and Independents. But that financial expertise is based upon service over 25 years in the private sectors, in the public sector, and in government sectors. What I have done, I've served in the public sector, in the private sector, as a corporate accountant, internal auditor, budget manager, controller, treasurer, and chief financial officer. We have to run this town like we would run any business that deals with millions of dollars. In the public sector, I owned an accounting business that provided services in payroll, accounts payroll, general ledger reporting, and consulting services. In the government sector, I have collected municipal revenues and served on the Tiverton Town Budget Committee. I've been on the Rhode Island Lieutenant Governor's Council of Small Businesses and been an advisor to Congressman Patrick Kennedy on small businesses.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to stop there because we just asked for why you were running and your qualifications. We asked not for a formal opening statement, and so we're going to give Laura a chance now to say why she's running for treasurer and what qualifications you bring to the position.
Okay, thank you. I'd also like to thank you for holding this forum. It's an important public service. In 2006, the voters recognized the need to have a full-time financial professional in the office of the treasurer when they approved the full-time salary at the Financial Town Meeting. There's a serious need for that full-time financial professional. But as with any business, the treasurer is like the controller in that, yes, you have to have the financial skills, but you also have to be familiar with the business. And in this case, the business is the town. I've been very active in the town since moving here. It's been my second career, really. I retired as an investment professional for 15 years. moved to Tiverton, got involved going to school committee meetings, budget committee meetings, Planning board meetings, became rather well known for getting involved and earned the nickname Citizen Epke, which I guess is a good thing. So I bring a knowledge of the town. I love the town. I want to fill what I see as a real serious need, and I'm an experienced investment professional.
Okay, thank you. Philip, we're going to go back to you and start with you this time. You started to talk about some of your experience, and unlike other elected offices, town treasurer, as Laura just mentioned, for the first time will be a full-time salaried position. Do you have other employment commitments that would conflict with your full-time obligation if elected to this position?
Absolutely not. Currently, I'm a teacher at the college level of accounting, finance, and statistics. I also have experience in the public school sector as an administrator, and I am a certified business administrator at the school level as well. No, I do not have any businesses, outside businesses. I will devote 100% to this position and give my best. Okay,
thank you. Laura, same question to you. Do you have any other full-time commitments or employment commitments that would conflict with your ability to give full-time hours to this position?
No, I'm retired. I'm 100% for the town. I actually have almost worked full-time as a volunteer for the town. So no, I have no conflicts or other commitments.
Okay, thank you. And George, same question to you, because you said you own more than one business. Would those obligations conflict at all with your ability to do this on a full-time basis?
Not at all. I've had 6 of them at one time. I have 2. We have very, very qualified managers who learn my stations. My wife just came on board about a month ago to take over my position if I win. I am very proud of my businesses, and I am sure I could do a great job. Okay. Not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you. Laura, we'll start with you this time. All of you have kind of mentioned the underlying tension, maybe not even underlying, but an obvious tension in terms of the financial situation of the town. What would you do if elected as treasurer to help the town improve its financial situation?
There are things the treasurer can do. There are things the treasurer can't do. The treasurer can't go out and solicit new business. The treasurer serves a very minor role in the budgeting process. The treasurer obviously is responsible for bringing forth a budget for their small office, and also the debt service portion, and certainly collaborating with the town administrator around the revenues. But as far as setting a budget or being involved with exceeding the cap, certainly we're a source for information. The treasurer's office would be a source, but there's not much impact the treasurer can have on that other than advising. What the treasurer can do is improve the reporting, put it into the 21st century to help the decision makers, give them better information, monitor the spending, make sure that there are controls in place for the dollars in and the dollars out, like watching over the school bond, making sure we can account for all those dollars, and working on the long-range financial plan also, I think, is important. We have several things coming that there is a desire for a new library. We're going to have these bonds for a long time. How are we going to deal with this? We have a development impact fee. How is that going to be adjusted for? So there are certainly things that the treasurer can do to monitor costs and make suggestions, and I will try and do that.
Okay, thank you. George, same question to you. What would you do to help the town improve its financial situation?
I have to follow what Laura just says. The town treasurer really has no control over the budget, have no control over changing the tax rate. My job as a treasurer is very simple, to monitor the accounts. We have a lot of accounts with a lot of money coming into the town. There's a couple accounts, there is a money in them not supposed to be. As a matter of fact, was found through this audit period that money was moved. Was a lot of money in one account was not supposed to be there. Watch those slush accounts, slush fund, and the only really job, we could talk about bond, we could talk about any of that. The treasurer absolutely has no control over the bond. The people will vote without the bond. The treasurer will go out there and find it. So we really don't change much in the tax rate. We could switch it any way you want. Our job is just to monitor these accounts to make sure the people not spend the money that the town budget meeting, the people who voted for those money is there. Checks were written with the right amounts for the coming out of the right accounts, and it's just monitor the money moving around. That's really our job. It's not, you could make it as complicated as you want, but from what I read, a meeting, and I have to say the town administrator, I am very proud of Jim Gonzalo for all three of us, we going into a town treasurer with a brand new computer system. So we all could act very smart about it. It's not, we all know nothing about it. I deal with certain computer and payroll system. The town, this brand new computer system they have, we all have to learn it as we go in. So the reporting all happened through the system as Jim showed us, and I believe he showed all three of us. So we all going in on this as something new we all have to learn. So the reporting, it's simple. We could complicate it as much as we want, really. It's monitoring the money in the town, make sure it doesn't move in the wrong directions. We're making sure all the accounts going the way it's supposed to.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Thank you. Philip, you said that you're campaigning on a platform of, yes. So what would you do if elected as treasurer
Well, I
to
want
help
to
the
make it very
town?
clear that much of this financial expertise, in addition to experience, has been through training and knowledge. I have a master's degree in business administration and finance and accounting, and also a master's degree in education, which would help me look at the budget. But I disagree with the process that a job is limited. Every job that I have taken on, whether it be in the public or private sector, I've made that job whatever I could work at it and whatever I wanted to do. I tried to bring in new ideas, a new attitude. Pivot to this election, the treasurers were, quote, part-time people. And when I spoke to Jim about the position, Jim Gonzalo, he says, Phil, he said, what you can bring is you can address all of the subjects. I haven't had that opportunity really to address anything specifically and extensively within the Treasury Department. So I would focus on, first of all, is information. And I know about the new system that they installed. It's Phoenix, and they're having significant problems with them. And someone has to help the assistant treasurer work out these problems. I think I have the experience to do that. I think we have to bring accuracy and transparency, basically, to the information we provide. And I disagree with the issue on budget. The treasurer can be very active because, you know, once that budget's approved, it's not like setting a ship like the Titanic. We have to, quote, make maneuvers as we go, or else it'll hit a rock and sink. And I think a lot of the information that we come upon within the town basically says we're ahead of budget. But I think what I'd like to do is to put more of a cash flow budget where projects and expenses are defined on an ongoing basis throughout the year, not divisible by 12, but actually what will happen. And then for us to make these corrections. For example, Chris Carter said one of the reasons why we had a significant issue at the town meeting was the fact that we were $900,000 under budget on revenue coming in. We have to know about that revenue beforehand. The other issue is in the area of the annual report. The budget, the treasurer has to oversee the preparation of the annual report. That annual report currently takes close to 6 months to prepare. My goal as treasurer would be to cut that time in half, because the faster we get to where we are, then we can know where we're going to go.
Okay, thank you. George, we're back to you to start with this question. You said that it's not up to the treasurer to approve bonding. The voters would approve bonding, but then the treasurer would be instrumental, obviously, in securing the bonds. What experience or familiarity do you have with bond issues or financing, whether traditional bonding or tax incremental financing?
Actually, let me correct one thing. The new accounting system in the town hall is not Phoenix. Phoenix is the old account. The new account is called General Accountant. So the Phoenix, we are very familiar. It no longer exists. Okay. So the new account information is totally different name. But I'll be honest with you, none. But that's why they have a bond counsel, and that's why they have a legal counsel. According to Jim, even when he took the job, he really didn't know much about it. That's why you go out there, you put it for bids. I learned about it like everybody else does. I read about it. I went to Jim, I said, explain to me the bond issue. That's the only not really familiar that much with it. And he said, the town people will approve it. You put it out for bid. He showed me how it works. He said, then he actually said, there's one company they always deal with. And he said, you're really not making that decision on your own. You really have a bond counsel and you have legal counsel. And he said, at the end, you take the lower bidder. And I said, is the lower bidder the decision? He said, it is the only decision. So we could say, well, you know, I'll go out there and all my job is to put it out for bid, and by Tiverton stats, we have to take the lower bid. So it's not like I could go out there and say, gee, I like this company, they offer us more. The lower bid is the one goes.
Okay, thank you. Philip, same question to you. Do you have any experience in bonding and financing?
Yes, but I want to address the issue of the general ledger package. I spoke to Sheila Conroy in the Treasurer's office, and she said, in essence, it's a Phoenix upgrade. What happened was that they stopped supporting Phoenix, the old Phoenix, and have gone to a new version of it. But my point now is, in bonding, I put together bonding programs when I was down in West Virginia. I did some consulting work down in West Virginia, putting down some government bonds. And basically, it's a matter of getting the best rate for the citizens of Tiverton that you can, and trying to hold fast to making sure your payments on a regular basis, and not to be in any time default.
Okay, thank you. Laura, same question to you. Do you have any experience in bonding or similar kinds of financing?
From the investment perspective, yes. Although I spent my 15 years in equity investing, I did some work initially for the bond department, the fixed income department, and as part of my job in one particular area, we did hold bonds. So I'm very familiar with bonds and how they work. Have I gone out to get a bond? No. Will I utilize the bond counsel? Absolutely. I do think there's a further step in there in instituting controls. As Phil said, that you do need to keep on top of it. You have a debt service schedule. You need to know when the bills are going to be paid, but you need to constantly monitor it and make sure that there are procedures and policies in place for how those get paid.
Okay, thank you. Philip, we're back to you. If elected, what is the first thing that you would do as the town's full-time treasurer?
As the first full-time treasurer, number one, I would be a team player. When I met with Jim, he said he was not looking for someone to be in left field. He wanted to have the treasurer meet with his department heads and to work closely with them and to bring suggestions to the table for improving cost effectiveness within the town. So that would be my first area, is to improve cost effectiveness. The second area would be I would look at the budgeting process. Right now our budgeting process starts in January and ends in March. Some aspersions were made the fact that people don't attend all the meetings, but if I was reading a book and it took me 6 months to finish it, I would probably forget what happened in the first part. So the issue right now is making sure that that budgetary information is clearly presented to the town folk, because I really think that going to one meeting doesn't necessarily meet a complete educational process on the budget. The other area to look at is in bringing in revenues. One of the areas of revenue, which is kind of strange that I would bring in, was to post a job posting for all those people who have been unemployed, because unemployed people do not pay property taxes in 9 out of 10 times. I would also try to put a treasurer's council together to evaluate expenditures.
Okay, thank you. Laura, same question to you. If you are elected, what would be the first thing that you would do as the town's treasurer?
Well, the first thing to do is to meet with the department heads and go over the policies and procedures that are in place in the office now. Familiarize yourself with the office. The first outside of the office, other than learning the office, that I would like to do is set up a team with the other financial professionals. The charter says that there is a financial services section of town government, which was kind of a surprise to me, and we don't really pay attention to it, but it includes the tax collector, the tax assessor, the Board of Appeals, Tax Assessment Board of Appeals, and the treasurer. Now, in the past, the treasurer's office has kind of been in a silo. I would like to have a working team for a financial planner. The other aspect that I think we should really work on is working in partnership with the school. The school has a full-time financial manager. I really want to sit down and pick his brain and see how the two of us can work together to increase efficiencies.
Okay, thank you. George, same question to you. If you're elected, what is the first thing that you would do as the town's treasurer?
First of all, bring back within the town hall, bring back the confidence of the people in the town treasurer office. There is a disconnect there between even the town administrator knowing that he did it, on an interim basis. Just making that connection back between the town hall and the department heads to the town treasurer office. There was a total disconnect. I don't want to say unorganized, but we've got a couple wonderful ladies who work downstairs, but they really haven't had anybody to give them direction. So my first priority thing is to give the town council report every time they want one, which is they've been crying for one for a while, and that's my number one priority.
Okay.
You're asking for one? That's the one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Laura, we'll start with you this time. Obviously, the top vote getter on November 4th will be Tiverton's town treasurer. So this is your chance to tell voters why are you the best candidate for this job.
I have a lot of financial expertise. I worked over 15 years, as I said, as a financial professional. I think what makes me the best candidate for the job is the knowledge that I have of the town, of all the different departments in the town, all the different aspects of town government. I recently was elected to the Charter Review Commission. We did an extensive examination of the budget process, which I had done on a previous panel, the Financial Process Advisory Panel. So my knowledge of town government, of where I see the shortfalls, that's not going to be a learning experience. I know what I think needs to be done. So that's why I would say I'm the best candidate.
Great, thank you. George, same question to you. Why are you the best candidate for this position?
I have to agree with Phil. It's about paying the bills. I'm sorry, Philip, I apologize for that. I pay bills. I own business. I know I might not have the quote-unquote, the degrees, but I have the experience. It's 22 years of writing bills, making payroll, and balancing checks. And that's what really the town needs, somebody to pay attention to the money, make the payroll, get the pension payment on time. That's why I'm the prime candidate.
Okay, thank you. And Philip, why are you the best candidate for this position?
Well, we're extremely fortunate in Tiverton. We have choices for town treasurer. I believe it's high time we put a financial expert in this most important position. Basically, what I can bring to the position is knowledge and experience, basically in the financial area. And my goal is basically to help all the citizens of Tiverton and making sure that their tax rates is as low as we can possibly make them. I think what I'd like to do, the reason why, is because I have been on the budget committee. I have seen the budget workings. I've been to town meetings. I've tried, in essence, to participate as much as I possibly can. But my point, what I can bring to them is a sense of confidence, because I think we have to have confidence and hope in what's going to be in store in 2009, which I feel is going to be even harder than what we had experienced in 2008.
Okay, thank you. And that's all the time we have for this forum with candidates for Tiverton Town Treasurer. This forum and similar forums we will be holding with candidates in other contested races for local and state offices will be shown on NCTV 18, Cox Channel 18, a number of times before Election Day on November 4th. I'm Sheila Maloney, and on behalf of the Daily News and NCTV Access Group, thank you for watching and good night.